but you're still not done your movie. There's one last draft called the reader draft. See, your movie is not going to be read by a producer. This is a terrible truth about Hollywood. Your movie is not going to be read by a producer, at least not early in the process. Your script is going to be read by a coverage reader. A coverage reader is another way of saying intern or disgruntled writer. Coverage readers are usually people who went out to Hollywood hoping to make it and didn't make it yet. And now they've got to read a bunch of other people's scripts. And your coverage reader does not really care about your writing. And your coverage reader may not even be that well trained. Some of them are brilliant, and some of them are really just interns. So the reader draft is where you idiot-proof your script, where you make sure that everything is absolutely clear, where you make sure your script is easy to read, where you make sure your formatting is perfect, your spell checking is perfect, where you have somebody copy edit your script and make sure that's perfect, to make sure that what you are delivering is absolutely the most professional thing that this coverage reader is ever going to read, so that they can say, wow, this is a real professional, and hopefully read your script carefully instead of just skimming it. When you've done all 4 drafts, you've got a movie. Now, here's what happens. Young writers tend to get obsessed with the audience draft. I got to set this up for the audience. I got to set this up for the audience. I got to set this up for the audience. I got to set this up for the audience. And they get obsessed with the reader draft. Oh my God, what if my formatting's not right? I got to fix my formatting. What if my formatting's not right? I don't know how to do this properly. And what ends up happening when you do that is your writing gets really boring. Because you end up spending so much time trying to get your formatting perfect that you're cutting yourself off from your instinct. And you're spending so much time setting things up for your audience because you're afraid you're going to be judged, because you're afraid they're not going to get it, that you're not giving them any meat to actually sink their teeth into, because you're not doing their meat draft. You're focusing on them. Professional writers that I work with, they get stuck in something called the producer draft. So professional writers get obsessed with how can I sell it? 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 And this is why you see so much bad writing come out of Hollywood, because Hollywood is obsessed with the producer draft. Because once you've sold your brilliant me draft movie, you've suddenly got to make a living. And so when I work with experienced writers, the problem is almost always they're focusing on the producer draft. Also, when I work with students who've read Save the Cat is a brilliant book, but it focuses on the producer draft. When I work with young writers, student writers, emerging writers, the problem is usually the focus on the audience draft and the reader draft. And actually helping, whether you're helping a professional writer or whether you're helping someone who's just brand new to writing, it always comes down to the same thing. It always comes down to the me draft. If you do the me draft right, all these other drafts become so much easier. But if there's no me draft in the story, if you're just writing it because you think it's commercial, not because you're passionate to tell it, it doesn't matter how much work you put into this thing. You're not going to get there until you do the me draft, until you put yourself into it. And this is the truth. Oftentimes, young writers think, oh my, I've got the best new idea. No one's ever thought of this idea before. If I just write this idea, I'm going to make millions and millions of dollars. And so I want to deliver some news to you that's both good news and bad news. Let me give you the bad news first. No matter how original you think your idea is, somebody is already writing it. There are just so many people working on so many scripts, you can almost be guaranteed that somebody is already writing any idea you come up with. Shakespeare knew this. Every single thing that Shakespeare wrote was stolen from another writer. Romeo and Juliet was Pyramus and Thisbe. Hamlet was based on the Hamlet. And yet you don't hear a lot about the Hamlet or Pyramus and Thisbe, do you? And this is not because Shakespeare stole it and somehow stole credit or any of those other things people worry about. This is because Shakespeare wrote his version of Hamlet differently from any anybody else. Similarly, if you look at an Aaron Sorkin script, whether it's the Facebook movie, The Social Network, or The West Wing, or if you look at any of his films, you will find that you know it's Aaron Sorkin, no matter how different the script is.